The wind howled through the dense forest, whispering secrets only the trees could understand. Beyond the thick canopy, shrouded in mist, stood an ancient stone tower, a relic of a time long forgotten. Its jagged silhouette loomed over the treetops, an ominous reminder that some places were never meant to be disturbed. James, a thrill-seeker and urban explorer, had heard the legends. The haunted forest tower, as the locals called it, was said to be cursed. Those who entered never returned, or if they did, they were never the same. The stories fascinated him, and despite the warnings, he was determined to see it for himself. He gripped his flashlight tighter and pressed forward into the darkness, the crunch of dead leaves beneath his boots the only sound accompanying his steady breaths. The path leading to the tower was overgrown, as if nature itself was trying to conceal what lay beyond. Branches twisted together like skeletal fingers, and the deeper he went, the colder the air became. A thick fog curled around his ankles, slithering across the ground like a living entity. Something about the atmosphere felt wrong. The silence was suffocating. At last, James reached the clearing. The tower loomed before him, its stone walls blackened with age, vines creeping up its sides like veins feeding a monstrous heart. He ran his hand along the cold, damp stone, a chill racing down his spine. The iron door, rusted and worn, creaked eerily as he pushed it open. The air inside was thick, heavy with the scent of decay. His flashlight flickered, its beam barely penetrating the suffocating darkness. The first room was empty, save for a spiral staircase winding up into the unknown. Dust coated every surface, undisturbed for what seemed like centuries. He swallowed hard, forcing himself to move forward. As he ascended, the air grew colder. With each step, the whispers grew louder. Not voices, but something more primal, a sinister murmur that made his skin crawl. He tried to shake off the unease, telling himself it was just the wind playing tricks. But deep down he knew better. Halfway up he noticed something odd. The walls were lined with deep scratches, as if something had desperately tried to claw its way out. His pulse quickened. His hand brushed against something soft. He recoiled, shining his light. A tattered piece of fabric clung to the railing, stained with something dark. His breath hitched. Blood. A loud bang echoed from above. He whipped around, his flashlight trembling in his grip. Silence followed. Then footsteps. Slow, deliberate, descending toward him. James' throat tightened. He wasn't alone. Frozen in place, he watched as the shadows shifted unnaturally. A figure emerged at the top of the stairs, tall, gaunt, its face obscured by darkness. The air grew thick, pressing against his chest like unseen hands. He stepped back, the wooden stair creaking beneath him. The figure remained still, watching. James turned and bolted down the stairs, his heartbeat pounding in his ears. The whispers grew frantic, rising into a cacophony of wails. He reached the bottom, but the door, his only escape, was no longer there. The walls seemed to have shifted, trapping him inside. He spun around, desperate. A guttural voice echoed through the chamber. "You came looking for the truth. Now you belong to it." Something cold wrapped around his ankle, yanking him backward. He screamed, clawing at the stone floor, but the darkness swallowed him whole. James awoke with a sharp gasp, his body aching as if he had been thrown against a wall. The cold, damp stone pressed against his back, and his breath came in ragged gasps. He wasn't in the same chamber. The air was heavier here, thick with the scent of mildew and something metallic, something unmistakably like blood. A single torch flickered in the distance, casting eerie shadows on the stone walls. The whispers had stopped, replaced by an unsettling silence that felt even worse. James forced himself to his feet, his fingers grazing the uneven surface of the walls. Symbols were etched into the stone, their deep grooves filled with a dark substance. He didn't need to guess what it was. Then came the footsteps, not from above this time but from everywhere. The sound echoed in the confined space, bouncing off the walls, making it impossible to tell which direction they came from. James clenched his fists, his breath shallow. He had to move. Staying here was not an option. He took a cautious step forward, his boots scraping against the floor. The hallway stretched before him, endless and winding. It felt wrong, as if the space around him was shifting, bending like a living organism. The walls seemed closer than before. Then he saw it. A figure standing in the middle of the corridor, its head tilted unnaturally to one side. Its face was obscured by darkness, but James could feel its eyes on him, boring into his soul. He swallowed hard, forcing his trembling hands to stay at his sides. The figure didn't move, simply stood there waiting. James took a step back. The figure twitched. He turned and ran. The corridor twisted and turned, the walls seemingly shifting around him. The sound of footsteps chased him, faster, closer. The torchlight flickered wildly, casting grotesque shapes along the stone walls. James' breath came in short, panicked gasps as he threw himself around a corner, only to stop abruptly. A massive iron door loomed before him, its surface covered in chains and intricate carvings. It pulsed as if alive. A single inscription stood out among the rest. "The price of escape is the soul you carry." James' stomach twisted. A guttural growl rose from behind him. He didn't have time to think. He grasped the iron handle and pulled with all his strength. The door groaned in protest before finally giving way. Blinding light spilled into the corridor, momentarily disorienting him. James stumbled forward, the growl behind him turning into a deafening roar. Then silence. When his vision cleared, James found himself outside. The cold night air rushed over him, the scent of damp earth filling his lungs. He turned back. The tower was gone. Only the whispering wind remained, carrying with it the final echo of the voice from inside. "You escaped, but the tower is never truly gone. Wait, watches, and one day, it will call you back." James staggered away, his heart hammering. He had survived. But deep down he knew the truth. No one ever truly escapes the haunted forest tower.